Good morning, people. I hope all of you are doing good. In the last video, I talked about the third sutra in the Ashtavakra Geeta, in which Ashtavakra is telling Janaka that you are not those five elements with which the body is made. You are the awareness that sees it all. You are the consciousness that is aware of it. According to Ashtavakra, we are not what we take ourselves to be. We take ourselves to be the body, which is always changing. We take ourselves to be the mind, which is ephemeral, which tells us one thing about an object today, another thing tomorrow, and it keeps on changing. And whenever a thought arises, it feels so real. But suddenly we see a day or two later that thought has changed, or a month or two later, we start to think the opposite thought. So that is Ashtavakra's message in the third sutra. In the third sutra, Ashtavakra tells Janaka who he is. He tells Janaka that Janaka, you are not Janaka. You are the one awareness, you are the pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanyam, that has the capacity to witness all the movements. Right? Before a thought has arisen, you were there. When the thought arises, you are there to see it. When the thought sustains itself and does its activity through you, you see that too. And when the thought vanishes, you are able to see that too. And then another thought arises. So there is some entity inside you, some quality inside you, which has the capacity to be behind or beyond everything. It is the light because of which everything is shining. Just like there is sunlight right now, because of which you can see me. Similarly, there is a light because of which you can see your thoughts, you can see your experience, you can see your feelings, you can feel your feelings and things like that. So in the third sutra, Ashtavakra tells Janaka resolutely that you are the pure consciousness. How liberating a thing it is, it only depends on you. It depends on you how liberating you can make this statement. If you look at this statement and if you ponder over it, and whilst pondering, you watch yourself pondering over it. If whilst watching yourself pondering over it, you watch yourself watching yourself pondering over it, then you might stumble into this crazy silence, crazy peace. And this crazy peace instantly comes about. And this crazy peace and this crazy silence or happiness is a symptom of you touching your innermost core, touching your reality, touching your non-physical aspect which has given birth to all. Yeah. So that is who you are according to Ashtavakra. Now we'll go to the fourth sutra. In the fourth sutra, Ashtavakra is telling Janaka, if the most beautiful thing about Ashtavakra is he always starts with an if. If you detach yourself from the body and rest in consciousness, you will at once be happy, peaceful, and free from bondage. We discussed something along the similar lines right now. If you detach yourself from the body and rest in consciousness. Now Ashtavakra, when he says if, it means that there is a possibility. There is something in us that has the capacity to detach from the body. There are various elements in the mind. There are certain elements that are very aggressive in its nature, and there are certain elements that are very subtle in its nature. Those elements of the mind that are very subtle in nature can understand this thing said by Ashtavakra. So in order to understand this thing said by Ashtavakra, we have to prepare ourselves in a certain way. Without preparing ourselves, we might not be able to understand it even a little. We will be bewildered by it. We will not be able to relate to what Ashtavakra is saying. If you detach yourself from the body, so there is a quality in us with which we can see ourselves as separate from the body. There's a quality that can help us to do that. So if we use that and start looking upon ourselves as if we are looking upon somebody else, if we look upon ourselves, if Shikhar looks upon Shikhar as Shikhar is somebody else, as I'm just a watcher and I'm watching Shikhar, this body, this mind, then Ashtavakra says you will be at once happy. It won't take time. At once you will be happy, peaceful, and free from bondage. So when you start looking at this construct called shikhar, initially it is going to be difficult, but if you're able to do it, then you'll at once feel happy. And even if you do not feel happy, you will not want to change it. That is the beauty of it. If you get fixated or established in the standpoint of awareness, if you get fixated, if you get established in this awareness that Ashtavakra is talking upon, then even if there is pain in your body, for example, you're seeing yourself from a distance, you're watching yourself, and there is a pain in a chest, there is some troubling thought that is going on inside you. Now suddenly, with this approach of Ashtavakra, you will begin to see this troubling thought, this trouble in the body, this trouble in the mind, as happening to an entity that is not you. So there will be a distinction from it. You will be separated from the thought that you're having. And that is a very liberating thing. Because we are so consumed, because we are absolutely and intimately connected with whatever we are thinking at that particular moment or whatever we are feeling at that particular moment, that is why we go through this tremendous turmoil and pain, because we are totally and utterly identified with whatever is going on inside the consciousness. But if you become the consciousness and just watch the events like the passing show, then the pain that those events are causing, the pain that those thoughts are causing, the pain that those episodes in your lives are causing is not going to be as painful. And this is not just hearsay, this is not just me repeating Ashtavakra. I have tried it out for myself. That's why I say that people who call spirituality as unscientific, they are highly bewildered. They have not experienced it. They're like the fox who goes to a tree in which grapes are, and because he cannot reach the grapes, he says that the grapes are sour. Had he reached out to the grapes, had he been able to taste the grapes, maybe the grapes were sweet. But because he could not catch the grapes, he is just running about trying to convince everybody that the grapes are sour. But the grapes are not sour. You just have to persist, endure, and try to see it for yourself. That is true spirituality. To not believe anything, to not have faith in anything, to try it out, to try out the words that these sages are putting out. So, yeah, that is one thing. Now, today I'll discuss another sutra also. Then Ashtavakra says, you do not belong to the Brahmana or any other caste or to any other ashram. You are not perceived by the senses, unattached, formless, and witness of all you are. Be happy. In the beginning he says, you do not belong to the Brahmana or any other caste. So, as we said, that we are not what we identify ourselves with. We identify ourselves with the various things that the mind is telling us. We identify ourselves totally with our personality. So our personality has a religion, it belongs to various ashrams, it belongs to various sects, and it belongs to so many things. But it is the mind, it is who you think you are that belongs to all these things. But you are not what you think yourself to be. You are the awareness that is the light because of which all of these things are happening. You are the source which is generating all these identifications, but you are the source, not the identification. As long as you're gonna be fixated or identified with the various things happening inside consciousness, you will be bewildered. So here Ashtavakra is saying you do not belong to all these things. You are not perceived by the senses. Now it's a very important thing, that the senses along with the mind cannot perceive the self. So what Ashtavakra is meaning here is that the source or the essence cannot be known by the thing which has come out of the essence. So the mind has come out of the source. The mind has been projected from the source. We say that the mind is being projected from the source because when we were deep in sleep, the mind was not there. Suddenly when we wake up, everything appears in front of us. So it was not there, and then it comes upon. It becomes so real. Suddenly, just a moment ago it was non-existent, and now it is so real. So according to Ashtavakra, here we have to see and understand that whatever emerges from the source does not have the capacity to know the source. That is what Ashtavakra is trying to tell us. that this is not possible. So from the senses, from the mind, we can make great scientific discoveries, because we can look upon nature and investigate nature and find the causes to those apparent effects that we see. Why is the tree green? We can research and find out that there is a substance called chlorophyll in the plant, and because of which it is green. Okay, we find it out, but we cannot find the cause of the cause. Why I say that is that if we go back and back and back, the next question would be, why is chlorophyll there in the plants? You might find out a reason for that. Then another why is gonna come. So if you go back, there might come a time beyond which you cannot go. That is why it is said that you cannot know the source through the mind. The mind is much too small, much too narrow, much too childish to know this tremendous phenomenon of awareness. So unattached, formless, then Ashtavakra is telling us the nature of that consciousness. It tells us that it is unattached. The mind is totally attached to everything, but this awareness is unattached. It has no attachment. When you connect to that awareness, suddenly you will find in yourself that this whole problem of attachment seems to vanish. It seems to vanish not because you become unattached with the people around you. It's not because you become unattached to all the things that are there around you, the people and everything. It is because you have become unattached with the idea of yourself. Shikhar has become unattached with this idea of Shikhar. So that is why, because he has become unattached with his own mind, that is why he has become unattached with the things that the mind was once attached to. So unattachment is not to cut your ties with everybody. Unattachment is to cut ties with the lies of the fictitious self, the lies of the false self. So unattached is the first quality. Then he says it is formless. It has no form. So everything that you see in front of you has a form, but the form, but your true nature is formless. Just like the space is formless, the sky is formless. Yeah, it holds everything that has form, but it is formless. And then it tells that it is the witness of all you are. That we've discussed. Be happy, he says at the end. So you should be happy. You should not be miserable. You should be reveling in the fact that you are always free. You're always free. It's because you identify yourself with this false I, you come in bondage, you become enslaved. But take yourself away from it, rest in awareness, then you will know the true beauty of life, I think. Then one more sutra we'll discuss. Virtue and vice, pleasure and pain are of the mind, not of you. This is the 6th sutra. Virtue and vice, pleasure and pain are of the mind, not of you. O all pervading one, you are neither doer nor enjoyer. Verily you are ever free. So he says virtue and vice. Now virtue and vice, what do we call as virtue, what do we call as vice, depends upon the culture in which we are living, depends on the education that we have received. So the idea is that all the people around us have filled inside us. We use those ideas, we use that knowledge to know what is virtuous and what is wise. But all of these things are included in the mind, because the things that you call virtue becomes wise in a different culture, and vice versa. So virtue and vice is a quality of the mind. Pleasure and pain similarly are a quality of the mind. The things that give pleasure to you becomes pain after some time. The painful things become a pleasure after some time. So it shows that the mind is always ephemeral, always changing, never fixed. And because we take it to be very real, we stumble into great confusion. We stumble into confusion because every time a thought is born, we take it to be very real. We take it to be the absolute fact. When we fall in love with a girl, we think that is the ultimate truth, that it is always going to stay like that. But because we have trusted an entity or an instrument that is only creating illusions, that is why we are bound. to fall on our face, and we are bound to get our bones broken. So, virtue and vice, pleasure and pain, are of the mind, not of you. You are not the mind. Again, he says, O all pervading one. Now, he says that who you are pervades everything, which means that everything that your mind is thinking, everything that you're feeling, everything that you're experiencing is springing from you. So, everything is pervaded by you alone. And verily you are ever free, but you are ever free. It is coming out of you, it is projecting through you, but it is always unattached. You're always free. So that is quite beautiful. The fact that whatever you experience is also not different from you. It springs from you, but if you take what springs to be, if you forget that whatever thought is there in your mind is springing from a source of silence, from a source of stillness and unattachment, then there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be a different approach to how you live. There's going to be a different approach because you will know that the instrument with which you're living in this world is only capable of solving problems like mathematics, solving problems like how to learn to play a guitar or a harmonium, or how to do a job, things like that. But if you use it to know the truth, if you use it to solve the more complex emotional and critical philosophical problems, then you will be bewildered. So I think enough for today. Thank you for listening.